Suffering from schizophrenia. It's a kind of mental illness. Among other mental illness, there's schizophrenia, there's bipolar. I could hear voices, and I could not explain where they were coming from. My name is Lorenzo Ambiyo. I'm 29 years old. I'm a Gen Z. My story started in 2019. I was in my third year in the university, the second semester. I could hear voices, and I could not explain where they were coming from. They were just coming to my head and to my ears. So I was in distress. I could reply to them, but I could not get sometimes a reply back, and they could tell me to do things like harm my young baby. That period that I was using drugs, it triggered. And then I had emotional stress at that time because I had a newborn baby and I could not care for her. So I came to Nairobi from Narok, so to my mother, so that she could help me seeking medical assistance. But at first, she did not know what was happening. So I started sleeping too much, not eating, and within 2 months I started going to the streets and walking aimlessly, shouting at unknown people, and it was a bit challenging because my mother could not find me at those times, so that she could help me seek assistance. But it was a new thing to her because she could not know what was really happening to me. I didn't join the street family to say, but it was near. It was very near because I was getting lost, and I could leave the house at maybe 5:30 or 6 a.m. in the morning, and maybe come back at very late at night, and it was just God's intervention because my mother could not know where I was and if I would come back. She got a friend who told her that a place in Kenyatta. I first got my help at Kenyatta National Hospital. There's a place called the Youth Center, and that's where they first administered the syringe to me to cool me down, and then they administered the drugs. Someone who's struggling from a mental illness, I can say that you should seek help. And if you're using substance, there is substance use, you should not. Substance use is a trigger to a deteriorated mental capacity or mental health. Age 17, 18, when I was clearing my KCSE, that is from 2014 to 2015. That's when I started using marijuana, khat, there was cannabis, which is bang, and some tobacco. To someone and to that Gen Z that is going through mental illness, I can tell you that there is hope for you. I struggled. I was even dirty. I used to roam the streets. Now at least I'm clean with the intervention of my mother and organizations like HERAF that are always keeping me busy. And as for now, I'm doing so good for myself. My daughter is currently now 7 years old. I enrolled into a government TVET and I received my grade tests for electrical engineering. You can contact me so that we can help each other through this journey of mental illness. My social media handles, Facebook is Lorenzo Ambiyo.
Every time we are talking about mental health, we are talking about awareness every day. But what do you do when you get back home? What do you do? Are you the kind of mother or the kind of father who starts shouting at your kid? Do you let them express their emotions? You need to be very vigilant of maybe your child, and especially for Gen Z parents, these conditions are now very, very much prevalent, unlike before, and there wasn't awareness before. HERAF is Health Rights Advocacy Forum. We are supporting the integration of mental health into primary healthcare systems, including again working with the national government to support policy work and all other aspects of mental health. We need to be very cautious when dealing with men. You realize that most men don't come out clearly, most in the clear to talk about their issues, their conditions, and even when they have anything, most of them will stay in hiding rather than coming out to speak about it. So we are usually encouraging the culture of going out to men. You see someone who was a very live person, who was coming to work every day early, but then inafika place umse anaanza kukuja, maybe anakuja siku moja shati haijapigwa pasi, siku moja amekuja amechelewa. So you look out on the inconsistencies and the irregular behavior yenye hakuwa nayo, but now ameanza. And then again, most men they tend to do drugs when they are not feeling okay. They usually drown so much in drinking and maybe the other drugs, the hard drugs and maybe smoking. And then they withdraw from their social circles. They don't go to very social places. They tend to stick in and stay in the hiding. If you see for a man who has been live and amefika place ameanza kwenda chini, it's very important that you reach out to them, you talk to them, you listen to them, and you encourage them to also speak up. For June, we have been doing a lot. We have had webinars to create awareness. We have been doing X-spaces. We have done turning awareness into action. We have done first aid. We have done community mental health among men, young boys. We are taking this conversation to workplaces. We are taking the conversation to schools. Everywhere we're getting an opportunity to interact with men. And then again, we are doing men-only outreaches where we target men and young boys alone. So we do an open day for young men and men in schools to be able to support them. Government facilities now are integrating mental health into every aspect. What I would also encourage their peers and maybe families is that you also encourage a conversation and an environment where people are able to speak about issues of mental health. At work, you need to institutionalize and make mental health a normal conversation. Ensure that our men and boys we don't lose young men and boys to suicide and maybe mental health conditions, so that they also don't disappear and they don't get lost in drugs.
Gen Z najua ni kundialala na historia mental health, but si wote tutatoboa ama tutabotoa, si ndio? Usinyamazie condition yako, seek help hata ukitaka. Ukiona kama utakuwa burden, maisha ni yako, kumbuka lazima uko na maisha yako at the end of the day.